Alright, so welcome to your new camera. This is the Holga camera that we do use in the photo classes here. And although it may look like a toy, it is not a toy by any stretch of the imagination. It is a good camera to use. You can see it does have a glass lens on the inside there. You can tell that by the reflection. And you can also see that there is an aperture on the inside that does limit the amount of light, so we are going to get very clear photographs through it. As we're looking at the lens, also you can see that it does move, and as it moves there are different focus areas here. Okay, you see that very first one there, it looks like one person. That's taking a picture of one person up to, well, between 3 and 5 feet away from you usually. The next we're going to add up until about 10 feet for a group of people, okay, a small group of people. So they're between 3 and 10 feet. You don't want to get much closer than 3 feet because it doesn't have a macro lens and things will be out of focus. Okay, moving up to the next group, that's a larger group. That's up to about 30 feet is going to be in clear focus. And then looking at the mountain setting at the very end, that's going to be everything in the frame is going to be clearly in focus. The next thing we're going to look at here is we're going to look at this little sun, and on the other side there is a lightning bolt, and the sun is kind of behind clouds, so that's going to be for our shutter speed. The shutter speed will be, keeping the lens open a little bit longer on those cloudy days, or if we're going to use a flash, which we don't happen to have here in this class, but it will keep the shutter open longer to allow more light in and make your picture better. If you're in the bright sun, you would go to this setting right here, which is a bright sun setting. The shutter won't be open as long. On the bottom of the camera there's also another switch, and there's an N and a B, and that N means it's in the normal position. So when you press the shutter down, or the shutter release button down, the shutter will remain open for that 1/25th or 60th of a second, depending. And then as soon as it opens for that long, it closes. The other setting, the B, is for a bulb setting, and that's for a longer exposure, anything over that 1/20 or at that 60th of a second. So you want to make sure usually that it's on the normal setting, unless I've specifically told you to use it on the B or the bulb setting. As we look at the top of the camera, this is the shutter release. You press the shutter release to take the picture, and then after you press the shutter release, on the back of the camera you're going to turn this little knob here. That's the film advancer. So you take your picture and then you move to the next frame. Up here is a frame counter, and I don't know if you can see in there, it might be a little too clear or a little too blurry, but that will tell you how many pictures you've taken. Your first roll of film is going to be about 5 frames, maybe more, maybe less. On the top of the camera there's also an orange knob. This is our rewind knob. By flipping up that piece like that, the handle comes out and we're able to use it to rewind, always in a clockwise direction. But we also use this to open the back of the camera by picking up on it like that. We're not going to pick up on it like we're ripping it out, because we just might. Just picking up on it gently, and the back is going to pop open. And this is what the inside of our camera looks like. This is the focal plane, the area where the film sits right in front as it's taking its picture. You can see the workings of the shutter in there. Don't touch anything in there because you don't want to mess anything up. This is where your film goes. This right here helps to advance the film, and this is the take-up reel for the film. You'll notice that there's a little slot in this one, and there are little cogs on that one there. To load the camera, you're going to take your film, you're going to pop it in this end piece here like this, and you're going to pull up on that orange, and then just give it a little push so it falls in and it sits all the way. Your film will be cut very similar to this. You'll take the film and you're going to stick the end of the film into the slot in that very last spindle, and then you're going to advance the film. If advancing this way doesn't work, always click the shutter and then advance the film. You can see how it's starting to roll up on here. I do it twice, and it should look like this on the end. If that's the case, I'll close the back of the case, and this last frame that we had here is already exposed, so what I will do is I'll take one more shot, and when I would advance, I'm going to watch to make sure that this moves, and if it moves like that, then I know that my camera is properly loaded. Go out and shoot until your film advance doesn't turn anymore, and then you know you're done.